my baby on the right side of the house tonight.
Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I am Nika Bubbles, aka Mr.Whitty, and today I have to get on here and talk about this viral moment that happened between Keke Palmer and Usher because I was there. I gave myself a little step away, a little holiday for July 4th. You know, we black, so we celebrating Juneteenth now. It's a dub on July 4th. Everybody has been talking about how there was nothing to do this July 4th, how the feelings, the vibes have felt off lately. And so Keke Palmer had the same idea as me. Let me go take a little personal time away from my man, as much as I love him, and take myself to Vegas, which is a beautiful place, a beautiful warm place, considering that it has been so cold and weird weathered all throughout June in a lot of parts of the country. I was like, you know what? July 4th is not going to have me caught up in New York City on like a rainy, muggy day. I want to be somewhere where the sun is shining, the pool is flowing, and the drinks are right? So that's what I did. I took myself to Vegas. I had an amazing time, and I'm going to actually share the vlog for that very, very soon. I didn't even get 2 seconds to get home, sit at my computer, edit this vlog in like a rush or whatever before all the shenanigans popped off about Keke Palmer and her partner boyfriend's comments about her outfit and interaction with Usher at the concert that I went to. What's so crazy is that we are basically in the same scenario, just with very, very different amounts of money. And the funny thing is that my man makes way more money than I do. So he's the one in the position of power and allow me to go, allow me to enjoy myself. He even wanted to go see Usher before and we couldn't get it together. And you know, yes, it was me who got it together, got all the plans together like the women's do, right? It's always the more feminine essence in the relationship who has to plan everything. Why? But that's a long-winded way of me saying that I went to Vegas to have a great time. I went alone. Maybe, I'm sure Keke was not alone. She was there in the house with probably a couple friends, a little gaggle of friends, people that we don't know because they're not famous. But I was there enjoying the show. And as you're going to see in the clips that I'm going to insert now, you will see Usher is serenading many different women in the crowd, and not just women. I'm not sure if this happened just before or after. I'll have to go back and check the footage. But he did a whole section where a gentleman like professed his love to his girl and all this stuff. And then he ended up not proposing. And everybody was like, girl, you gonna get up here and say all this stuff and then you not gonna propose? Niggas. But then 2 other couples were in the house and the men proposed to their girls. It was lovely, lovely, lovely. And then his vocals were just shining, beautiful. He was, you know, like a little black Fred Astaire, just going all over the stage, right? And all through the crowd, just dipping and moving, dipping and weaving through the crowd. And he comes over to a number of different girls, beautiful different women. He generally takes them. They kind of, they're all looking beautiful, obviously dressed up to be front row and possibly highlighted in a audience experience, audience interaction moment like this at a Usher concert. And so, like, a number of women are dressed, I would say, exactly as Keke Palmer was dressed, which is extremely appropriate. Extremely appropriate for a city like Vegas. And for a girl her age. Not to mention, there's a woman that you will see in the clips that I'm going to show that she has like, it's a strapless dress that's low cut in the back. It's kind of like 1950s, beautiful fitted style, right? Like not a 50s flared style, but like a beautiful fitted style. Very, very, very like what you would imagine a beautiful housewife at a swanky dinner with her husband in 1950s. This is what she would be wearing, sit in front row in front of Frank Sinatra. And nobody would go back and say, oh, your wife was wearing a fitted dress. Why wasn't it shaped like a sack so he couldn't see her body? Oh, and not her turning around and showing her body on him, right? Now, this was a moment which, unlike the moment with Joe Budden that happened a couple of weeks ago, Joe Budden had a girl with him, and he's a guy. Usher is obviously not coming up and twirling no guys. But often, it's the man who is the one in power. And it is his girl who was the trophy, who he can allow a way for a gentleman to, you know, as you might see in an old film when a man comes, "Hi, may I please have this dance?" Right? Like, it's giving very that. And so I'm sitting there like, okay, this is a very normal thing. However, this woman has her own money. She Hollywood all on her own, right? No insecurities, all on her own. So there is no gentleman there to ask, oh, you know, can I have this dance? And not only that, as a Hollywood black royalty princess that Keke Palmer is, she is well known amongst other celebrities. So the Keke moment, double entendre there, of her wrapping her little arm around him, right? Like, this is no different than, you know, seeing another beautiful black woman in black Hollywood have an experience with another A-list artist. You know, it's like, you know, the only difference I would say is that, look, child, she ain't married anyway. She ain't married anyway. That's her man, but she ain't married, right? She ain't married. My mic is over here, so I'm just saying, she ain't married, okay? She ain't married. She together, but she ain't married. They just go together real bad, right? So, let me take a little moment so you can see this, and I can put the clips in.
Ooh, baby. Ooh. There goes my ooh, girl. If you don't know, you my girl. There goes my. There she go, there she go, there she go, there she go. Baby, love me, you feel. There goes my, yeah. A real special in the house tonight. Yes. It's you, my girl. There goes my. There she go, there she go, there she go, there she go. Loving everything you do. Baby, bring it down right now, yeah. Oh, you thought you was just gonna hide over here, Keke? You thought I wasn't gonna know that you came to the Usher show? There she go, there she go, there she go, there she go. You don't know it feels to call you my girl. There goes my baby. Everything you do, ooh girl. Look at you right now. Look at you right now. Y'all put your hands together for Keke.
All right, we got our matcha. This is super yummy. It's so good. Whole Foods. Okay. Let's now talk. Get ourselves set up. Now let's talk about it. Because the video footage which I've provided is very, very clear. I mean, it couldn't be more clear.
If I wanted it to be, it couldn't be more clear. It just couldn't be. I've got to stop looking at the viewfinder and look at the camera.
It is so clear that, one, she came dressed extremely classy. She looked like a classy, hot mama. A young, hot mama. And if that's your wifey, if that's your wife, if that's your girl, you gotta be up there like, oh, hey, that's my goo. That's my boo. Like, literally, I'm like, there's so many, like, meta things happening here. Like, all he had to do was get online and post, there goes my baby. Oh. Like, that's all he had to do. There goes his baby getting There Goes My Baby sung to her after just having had a baby. Like, the levels. It writes itself. The appropriateness of the moment writes itself. So, but at the same time, I gotta have a little talk with Black Twitter or whatever they call it, whatever it's called. Because I'll be honest, I graduated high school at 15, 16. I went straight into college, and straight from college, I went into my corporate work life. And so outside of the areas, and the only way I was able to do that was by focusing very heavily on my sphere of interest and becoming a connoisseur and expert at that. Truly, I don't know that there would have been a way for me to have done so whilst also minding everybody's business. And I just feel like everybody is minding everybody's business that they don't need to mind. Now, yes, does him saying it online open himself up to criticism and blah, blah, blah? Yes. But the amount of, like, hour plus long dissertations people were writing / commenting whatever about this situation is really concerning. As one of my favorite favorite content creators, Kimberly Nicole Foster, says, are you guys okay? Like, I really felt like, are y'all okay? What's happening? Like, there was more uproar over this Keke Palmer moment with her man than there was about the loss of affirmative action. And I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, I know how I feel about that. But if I was dude, I would just be looking at y'all like, priorities. Okay? Like, we are just hell-bent in believing that, like, if we could just fix the stupid nonsense that happens in every relationship between every race of people and stop pinning it all on black men are just so horrible, that's why they need to be, like, not listened to and, like, whatever. It's just like, oh my God, it's the headache. The mental gymnastics used to extrapolate this one moment into, like, horrible things about black men is just so, like, unproductive at best. At best. Y'all not know that Keke Palmer, like, she tells y'all all the time that she's a Virgo. Do y'all remember what Beyonce did about, like, Jay-Z's cheating rumors? When he came out and said he cheated, when, like, her sister was beating him up in the elevator, what'd she do? She gave y'all nothing. Nothing, because that's what y'all deserve. Nothing. Like, y'all literally would want the story for this girl to tell her child to be, oh, hey, boo, I was at an Usher concert when you were a baby and your father was home with you. He didn't like what I had to wear, so he went on this thing called Twitter that we had at the time. Said, oh, I wish that, mommy was dressed a little bit more conservative or, whatever. Because, mommy's boobies was boobying and, and that had daddy feeling the kind of way. And you know what? Everybody turned around and said, I should leave your father and never talk to him again. I should put him on, put him into an NDA, make sure he never says anything about me ever again in public, and then, get rid of him. And I did. And I did, because I just couldn't take that tweet. Do you know what, I feel like it's because a lot of y'all, or a lot of people, they are familiar with scenarios like that. They are familiar with, blowing up their entire family dynamic because they didn't like something that someone said. And maybe this is just my Jamaican self, because the harsh things that's been said in a Jamaican household, child, now not supposed to be dealt with. But this is not you leave your partner over it behavior. This is, oh babe, you out here getting insecure over me doing my thing as a hot mama. What's really good? Let's have a conversation. I don't like when you be dressing like that sometimes, And actually, for me, I bet for the gentleman, it isn't even that she wore that on that day. It was the insecurity that he had about all the insinuations people might make about the connections between Keke Palmer and Usher because of that close embrace and because of that moment. I feel like he felt like he had to head it off and let people know that he wasn't okay with it, and so you guys don't have to come after me for being this simpy guy, right? Don't worry, I'm not okay with it. And that was obviously misguided, obviously unnecessary, obviously inspired by and or related to insecurities that he has. But something that I heard a lot of people saying was, oh my God, you just can't be with no man with no insecurity like this. I got this is really why we don't have relationships in the Black community. Because if y'all think that it's oh, get rid of all your insecurities before you get into a relationship with someone and start putting them on that. I hate to break it to you. The longest married people still have insecurities. And another thing is that sometimes the insecurities aren't in you, they're out of you. That's to say that I don't think he's insecure. I don't not think he doesn't have insecurities, because every freaking person has insecurities. Having or not having insecurities does not make you a good or bad partner. How you deal with those insecurities and how those things manifest over the course of your relationship with a person in the long term is what's important. Now, a dynamic in their relationship has changed. She is now the mother of his child. He will now have to, and this is why he can be because a man with no kids who's just your life partner and y'all just young and beautiful and loving on each other with no kids may not feel any way about you just being a hot girl that everybody sees. Because Keke Palmer has said, she said on Jason Lee's show, oh, I love when people come and tell me how hot my man. Girl, I don't know what the gag is, but you know how she talks. I don't know what the gag is, but I don't know about you, but I don't want nobody coming back and telling me, ooh, girl, did you see her man? You know, like, that's what she said. So she is very conscious about how she chose her partner. She also said that she was very conscious about choosing someone and taking her time to choose someone who she felt like fit her lifestyle and fit the things that she does with her life, right? I don't think any of that included choosing a man who might never have insecurities. As a girl who was very open about her own insecurities, right? So I think this is such a learning moment for relationships, because this is a kind of moment where, obviously because of the public uproar, like, people are like, I don't know how she didn't have him on an NDA. I'm just like, y'all are just like the backseat publicist, lawyer, marriage counselor, like therapist, all things all wrapped in one. And none of y'all got a man. It's just, it really be them ones. Like, oh, like sis said, it be the ones who ain't married. It be the ones who ain't got no man to please. It be the ones. It be them ones.